to mention, it's being recorded now. Now it's official.
Okay.
Just an overall goal for tonight. We want to do a couple of things. One is we want to inform you of everything that's going on related to the Ride, Run, Walk and get you prepared for that. We want to also be able to listen. If you have any questions, comments, or insights that you'd like to share, we're definitely interested in hearing those. We want to be interactive, although we'll be presenting a lot of information. You can use the chat function or raise your hand or just shout out a question so that we can address those. If you want to wait till a little bit later in the presentation, most of the information I'm hoping will be covered. We've tried to cover all the bases. And lastly, and probably most importantly, we want to demonstrate to you that we're here to support you. You've all accepted the Pacesetter role. We appreciate that. We endure our emotion and passion into you as you go out to your congregations and try to enlist riders and runners and walkers and sponsors and volunteers. And we want to be able to show that we can support you. So we are here not only for this kickoff meeting, but from now through September 25th at the least to answer your questions or to help you with your congregations. And so with that, I'm going to do just kind of a brief, maybe a roll call I'm going to do rather than just do introductions for everyone, just because we have a larger number. I'm going to call your names out as I see them on the screen. And if you can unmute at that time, maybe tell the group what church you're representing, and then maybe how many years you've been involved. So why don't I start? Well, actually, why don't we start with Dave Breckenfelder, it looks like.
Yes, I'm with Our Savior's Lutheran and Economowalk. I've participated in on the ride for, I don't know, 5 or 6 years, I think, quite a few years. And I think it's a great ride for a great cause. So I enjoy it every year.
Wonderful. You're a great kickoff, man. Thank you for starting for us. Anna.
I am Anna. I am one of the co-Pacesetters. My other one is coming in a little late because he's just getting off of work from All People's Church. And I also have an assistant. Her name is Soraya. She's busy at the moment. Yes, Amanda, I showed it just for you. I've been with the ride. I feel like I've been forever, maybe 7 years. Mike, what do you think?
That's wonderful number of years. Rosie, how about you next?
I am Rosie Haas from St. Matt's in Wauwatosa. I guess I'm kind of filling in for Julia Murphy, who is willing to be the pacesetter this year, but she's biking to Door County this week. So, and I guess I've been involved. I've done both pacesetter and I've ridden, 7 years maybe, but unfortunately I can't bike anymore because of medical issues. And I'm sad. So I have to be a virtual rider.
We're glad to have you. And we can't, Julia, it's okay. She's gone. Any excuse of bike riding is okay to this group, as I'm concerned. My next one says Larry, but I think it's Steve and Larry, right?
Yes, we are together. Yeah, and I'm representing Dr. Martin Luther Church in Economowalk, and have been connected with Outreach for Hopes. Boy, at least 10, probably more.
Okay. With St. Olaf Church and here in Rubicon and wherever the corner is here. I think I've been involved, I think 4 years, I think, in one way or another, 4 or 5, I think.
Okay, and I'll just repeat that. You came across a little hard. So St. Olaf and Rubicon and about 4 years.
Yes. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Wonderful. Mike Rowe, you're next.
Good evening. I can answer Larry's question for him. 2010 was the first year we rode, Larry.
Well, there you are.
Yep. And I'm here as a representative of the Outreach for Hope Board, and I'm a member of Christ the King, and delighted that Meredy is stepping up as a pace setter. She's done a great job over the years and Glad to have you back, Meredith.
You're welcome. I believe.
Dan Johnson. There we go.
There we go. Yeah, Dan Johnson, St. John's in Jackson. I'm sitting in for Pete Katsura, who's on vacation in Missouri, that guy. Myself, I think I've ridden 3 or 4 years on the ride. It's hard to keep track sometimes. So I assume Pete and I will probably be working together to promote the ride this year.
Great. Lynn Hooper.
Hi there. I'm from the Church of the Redeemer in Racine, and our congregation's been involved with Outreach for Hope for at least 10 years, but this is the first time I've been involved with the ride, so I guess I'm the newbie in the troop.
Glad to have you. Love to have you. Linda.
Hi, Linda Arsham. I'm with Our Savior's Lutheran in Heartland, and I'm co-pace setter with John Weiss. I think our church has been involved for quite a few years. I think I've been involved maybe 4, 5, 6 years. It's hard to remember. Glad to be here.
Too long to remember. That's always a good sign. Meredith.
Christ the King Lutheran in Delafield. I've been a writer. I've been a pace setter. You have to ask Mike Grow ever since he twisted my arm. And I'm also the lunch lady for the rest stop at Christ the King as I can no longer bike.
Very important volunteer. I love that stop. Jeremy.
I'm Jeremy Byerline from St. John's in Brookfield. I think I've missed 3 of the rides. I started the second one, and then I think I've missed a handful of others over the years, but I'm going to say it's been 9 or 10 that I've done so far.
Excellent. That's a long. Amanda.
I'm Amanda Yadis from Holy Cross in Menominee Falls. For our previous sort of pace setter organizer on staff recently retired. And so I am sort of taking over that role. And for Holy Cross, this will be the first time we've really actively participated in the bike ride because we've had a scheduling conflict with a major, we have a huge block party that day. So in some ways, this is new for us, and we're really excited to be able to sort of encourage and promote this. And I have another member from the church who is a strong supporter of Outreach for Hope and an avid bike rider, which I am not, who couldn't be here tonight, but Stan is going to sort of take over that role as well. So I'm listening to teach him. We're excited to connect more this year.
Glad to have you. Holly Hess.
Hi, I'm from Mount Pleasant Lutheran Church in Racine, and I'm a newbie too. This is my first year. I'm taking over from Kurt Hubman, who's done it for our congregation in the past, but it's a new event to me, so I'm excited to be here.
Great. And I've got Jim. How about Jim? I don't see any last name on that one.
Jim Benson.
Jim Benson. Good
This
to meet
year
you.
I'm representing Resurrection Lutheran Church. I've been a pace setter for all of the Outreach for Hope rides, or at least most of them. Formerly from All People's Church, now Anna has stepped into that role. Anna is a rock star. One of Outreach for Hope's beneficiaries. Can't say enough good things about her. Outreach for Hope is fortunate to have Amanda come into the pace setter role. She will step it up out there in Menominee Falls. So
excellent. You're putting some good push on everybody. That's wonderful.
Absolutely. You know, all about raising some more money. So the last couple of years, Resurrection has really tried to make an impact on the adaptive riders. We've had 4 or 5 adaptive bikes out on the course, and we hope to do at least that much. If we can get more bikes, we'll do more. And, you know, we just hope to keep improving our impact with Outreach for Hope. It's a great ride and just a super thing that the ELCA does.
Thank you for making it possible for all peoples. That's wonderful.
Oh,
John-
and Resurrection New Berlin.
Resurrection, thank you. John Bischoff.
Yeah, I'm John Bischoff, pastor at United Lutheran Church in Racine. I think I've only missed the first 2 bike rides. I've ridden and directed traffic and helped plan. I also served on the board for Outreach for Hope for 6 years. So this event and the ministry is near and dear to my heart. So yeah.
Wonderful.
And I should have lifted up John, as he's been helping us round up pace setters too. So thanks, John.
Yep.
Thank you. Tom Schaefer.
Hi, I'm from Village Church, Milwaukee. I've been involved with Outreach for Hope for several years. I don't know if this year if I want to pedal or if I want to run. I know there's a run option, and but I'm looking forward to raising some money.
Great, thank you. Love to hear that. Greg Hafman.
Sorry, trying to unmute myself. I'm with Reformation Lutheran in Brookfield. I took over the pace setter role last year for our congregation, and I think I've volunteered on site a few years before that, like maybe 2018 and 19. I haven't participated in the ride at all. I did do the walk last year, kind of on my own. Just reporting when I walked and all that stuff. So
virtually, right? Wonderful. Randy.
Well, I think I've ridden for 4 years. This will be number 5. Working with David Tice, we're kind of co-coordinators for the Ozaki ride, and we've really enjoyed doing that. I'm kind of floating around in the Milwaukee region this summer and looking for churches that maybe I can become a pace setter at, because Steve Street has got our St. Ola's home all taken care of. So I'm kind of out checking things out every Sunday, and we'll probably pick up 1 or 2 and let you know which ones they are, Jeff.
Wonderful. A couple left. Bob Stoll.
Trying to unmute and find my video. I'm from Ascension, Waukesha. I think it's been an Outreach for Hope rider participant since about 2011, 2012. And kind of getting into the pace setter role, try to drum up some more interest, some more riders and volunteers. So thank you.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you, Bob. Julie Eisch, is it Eisch? Is that how I pronounce that?
Yeah, hi. Yeah. I can sit down here for just a second. Oh gosh, I still have a virtual background. Sorry, that's from seminary, actually, from when I just finished up a semester over at Wartburg. Yeah, so I rode for my 50th birthday in 2015, and evidently I became some sort of all-time leader of most pledges ever, which is kind of really fun. And then I helped nurture the Ozaki branch kind of thing. And I'm up here in Cedarburg in the land of Oz, and I will do what I can to help all y'all.
We're definitely glad you're back then. Thanks for all that you do. How about Bob Reinders?
Good evening, everyone. I'm Bob Reinders. I'm a member of Living Faith in Racine, also a member of the Outreach for Hope Board. I am very appreciative of the added element of the walk part. My bike is in the garage. I don't use it too much. So I'm greatly relieved that we have the additional opportunity to participate via tennis shoes. So I've been a long time volunteer for Outreach for Hope in my congregation.
Wonderful. Thank you for joining us. And last but not least, Andrew Bidney.
Andrew Bidney. If Anna has already gone, I partner with Anna at All People's Church. I think that I've been helping for 3 or 4 years now, and we actually try to coordinate bikes for youth out of our congregation that don't have access to them. We've been pretty successful with that in all the years that I've been participating, as well as getting folks from All People's out to where we're riding.
Thank you, Andrew. Appreciate that. And you all passed the test. Now I know you all know how to unmute and talk, and so this can continue to be interactive, which I appreciate. We are going to present a whole bunch of information, but I think maybe it's good for all of you to know some are experienced veterans and some are new, but this is a support group, right? So we can always call on other churches and other friends and family within other churches in order to see how they're doing it and how to help the cause. So you've got here 20 some individuals that are now your Zoom permanently. Okay, why don't we jump, Chris? We're going to do a little video here for Outreach for Hope, so you guys can watch some YouTube. And if you would, mute on.
Hi, I'm Pastor Chris Mankey, and I'm the new Executive Director of Outreach for Hope. 25 years ago, we, the Greater Milwaukee Synod, began something together. We started a granting organization called the Outreach Fund, which had its purpose rooted in financially helping our own Greater Milwaukee Synod Central City churches who often find it hard to financially meet their own budgetary needs due to serving in communities gripped by poverty. Today, we're a separate not-for-profit organization, but we still partner closely with the Greater Milwaukee Synod. Not every synod has an organization like us, but here in our synod, we feel this work is too important to leave to chance. These are our congregations. They're our sister ministries of word and sacrament. Without them, we are not whole. So what exactly do we do at Outreach for Hope? Well, first of all, we steward the faithful financial contributions of our donors to fund financial grants for our ministry partners. These organizations provide services ranging from food and meal programs, to clothing pantries, to safety and educational programs for children and the elderly, to gardening and green projects, to healthcare clinics and parish nurses, and much, much more. These ministries often struggle to pay all their own monthly bills and are further pushed down when the unexpected problems of life come up, like the flooding that took place at Village Church's building in downtown Milwaukee, or the boiler struggles recently faced by Grace Welcome Center in Kenosha. These ministries are often struggling to survive themselves, while they also strive to meet the urgent needs of their communities. In 2020 and 2021, we also started to run seasonal social concern drives to meet a variety of changing needs of our ministry partners. Through our COVID-19 Relief Fund, Project Lunchbox, and a Super Bowl food drive, we were able to help our ministry partners provide additional free meals for families who were in need of food during the pandemic. And for the first time, we also hosted a Coats for the Cold campaign, which supplied over 600 winter coats to people in need of winter clothing. In chapter 25 of Matthew's Gospel, Jesus says, "When you help your brother or sister in need, you help me." And as we began 25 years ago, together, we continue to reflect the love, promise, and hope of what Jesus has called us to do. It is a privilege to walk together in ministry with your congregation in the Greater Milwaukee Synod and with our siblings throughout the Synod, striving to faithfully accompany each other in our joys and struggles of life. Oh, and by the way, make sure to mark off Saturday, September 25th on your calendar for this year's Outreach for Hope Family Ride, Run, Walk Fun Event. Thanks, and God's blessings to you in your faithful service to your neighbor.
we are sure that most of you know Outreach for Hope and the reason we all do this ride, but I think that's always a good reminder as to how we can present that to our congregations and then bring that excitement for what they do to our congregations for more funding. So I think we're gonna jump into the actual event. Emily is gonna give us a little background on the event this year and what's changing from last year and how it's looking. So over to you, Emily.
Great. Thanks, Jeff. First of all, I just want to say hello. I'm really excited to have joined the Outreach for Hope team. I am probably the newbie in this group as I listen to all of your history and tradition with the ride. I have certainly heard of the ride. I'm a longtime member at St. Matthew's, but I have not been a participant. So I am very excited. I've learned a lot in the last few months, and I just want to thank so many of you for giving me such a warm welcome. I am excited to launch for the very first time, show you all outside of the Outreach for Hope staff and Jeff, show you our landing page. We just put the final touches on this earlier this week and are opening it up officially. I guess yesterday was the first day it was visible. So what I would like to do, a lot, if not almost all of the information that would be helpful for you is contained within the landing page. The web address is OFH RRW.org. So it's really easy to remember, ready or easily shared with others. As you enter the page, right at the top, it just tells you who is Outreach for Hope. And then scrolling right beneath that are each of the ministry partners that Outreach for Hope's helps support. And if you click on each of those small pictures, it's going to take you directly to a description and more information about that specific ministry partner. And then as we scroll down a bit more, there's just kind of a broad statement about the event. We are excited to offer 4 sites this year rather than 3. I'll talk about those as we scroll a little bit further down. We are offering a lot of the traditional elements of the rides. We're offering trail rides at Waukesha, Ozaki, and Racine, Kenosha, as well as road rides at different lengths. And then new this year, as you've seen and heard, there are walks, 2-mile walks at each site, which is exciting. We're hoping that this opens the door and the opportunity to participate to a whole nother set of individuals, maybe people who aren't as comfortable on a bike or just would like to fellowship and take a leisurely walk. So on the landing page, we have each of the sites as well as a virtual option. We still, in the COVID world that we're still living in, we felt that it would be important to make this ride or this event, accessible to everyone wherever their comfort level is. So we are still offering the virtual component. We are going to be launching a mileage tracker. We don't have that quite ready to show you at this point. But once you are directing people to registration, all they will need to do is, again, click on the picture affiliated with the site that they would like to join. And Chris, if you want to click on Waukesha.
Not sure if those are live yet.
Oh, we don't have the.
Yeah, so it would be this would be the registration.
Okay, so this is still in progress, but each of those sites is going to have a registration page. This is the draft of the Waukesha site's registration page. It gives you the general details, the location, what's offered at that site. And then as you scroll down a bit further, it actually gives you the opportunity to sign up as either a walker or a rider, the opportunity to sign up as a volunteer. We'd love to, get a lot of people involved, even if they aren't wanting to walk or ride. And then of course, if people would prefer to not register online, we still are offering a downloadable registration form that they can print at home, or you may decide it might be nice to have a small stack of them at church and be able to give them out in the narthex or between services during fellowship time. And then as you scroll down further, we are, as has been done in the past, creating teams to help run the fundraising aspect of the event. And what we are hoping, and Jeff, this may be something that you would touch on, but when we open registration, which I'm going to get to in just a minute, we're hoping that as pace setters, you would consider signing up, creating a team for your specific church. And then when people go in to register, your church is all ready to go. If you want to go back to the landing page, is there anything else that I missed on the registration page? At the bottom at this point in time is specific event details. Once we get closer to the date, we are going to move all the event details, up to the top of the page. So if people need to know arrival times, we're going to put the cue sheets for the different rides. Everything will be right here on this Waukesha site page. To registration, we are opening registration on July 15th for all 4 sites, as well as the virtual ride. So all of those photos or icons will be live at that point and ready for people to join the fun. In regard, just kind of a broad, a statement that covers all sites, we are being COVID conscious this year. We are going to serve boxed or bagged lunches from Cousins. We're hopeful at all the sites. And snacks and drinks will be prepackaged. Anything that we are giving out at rest stops will just be more grab and go style. In terms of the registration fee this year, this is a little different than years past. We are asking participants, instead of a set registration fee, in order to remove any barriers to participation, we're asking people to pay what they can. So in terms of indicating that amount, it would be, participants would be putting more of a donation amount rather than a registration fee. Chris, do you have anything to add to anything I've said at this point, or
I think you
Jeff?
said it perfectly. That was
Okay.
great.
And then if you scroll down just a little bit further, I mentioned the volunteering. We are asking volunteers. I mean, of course, word of mouth is great, and we welcome, if people if you get a sense at church that someone's anxious to volunteer, please send them my way, or you reach out to me. If you have their contact information, I will reach out to them directly. But this sign up to volunteer button on the landing page will take them to both a description of all of the volunteer opportunities. Of course, I don't want to limit us, but this is just a general sense of what volunteer opportunities are available that day. And we're really hopeful that as pace setters and organizers, we can get the word across that by volunteering, some people, we have planners that are going to be with us all along the way, but also there are real easy 3-hour chunks of time. If people want to work the registration table, we'll put them to work. We'll take their help, absolutely. There's also a Google form that is another way I'm getting that information as it comes in. And I then pass off this information to the site coordinators. so they know who is signing up to help out at their site. So starting next week, or maybe even tomorrow, everybody all people who support Outreach for Hope will be getting their first bit of communication via a postcard in the mail. It's a real simple postcard, just gives the website, the locations, and it does give the link to help volunteer. So we hope that starts to sort of drum up interest. Finally, at the bottom, couple points at the bottom of the page, there's two different forms. If you get a sense that there's someone out there who's interested in becoming a sponsor, there are forms, downloadable forms on the website, both for in-kind donations and monetary donations. And we will, at a certain point, start launching our 2021 sponsors. They will have a presence on the website, as well as a link to, when you click on their logo, it will take you to their website. So this is an example of the sponsorship form. And then finally, at the bottom of the website is a area that I hope is usable to you. It is Robin on staff has done such a fantastic job of thinking of every sort of form of publicity and communication there is, and has links to posters, to Facebook banners, to bulletin inserts, all with our logo, with the web address, the date. This is all at your disposal. We are also sending all of this information to the congregations in hopes that they have it and can make copies and hang things up for us as we move forward. I think, I want to go back. Someone had mentioned the run option. We really, this year, aren't offering a run at any of the sites. We're keeping it ride and walk at the 4 sites. Oh, and I should mention, I'm sorry, the Milwaukee County, our new location that we're really excited about at Washington Park, is a walk only, no bike riding element at that site. But going back to the virtual participation is the only way this year we're going to be offering a run opportunity. We may reconsider a different avenue next year, but for this year, that's the direction we're going.
Tom, if you want to walk really fast, though, that would be great.
That makes me feel much, much better.
Thanks. All right.
So I think that's all I have. Again, thank you. Please feel free to, I'll answer questions as we go along now, but I'm really accessible via email. Feel free to shoot me an email anytime.
Thank you, Emily.
Mm-hmm.
We've heard about Outreach for Hope as a whole. We've heard about Outreach for Hope Ride, Run, Walk. Now we want to hear about the Pacesetters, right? That's specifically what you're here to hear about and here to help us out. So we're going to just go over a couple points about that. Some of you have been experienced Pacesetters, some are new to it, but there's really 3 things that are most important to all of us Pacesetters, and that's really to serve. You're acting as that liaison between Outreach for Hope and the congregation, and being able to assist individuals at any point in time, even if it's just pointing them to Emily. you can do that. Recruit. We would love for you to recruit more riders, more sponsors, more volunteers. And the way that we do that is by communication. We can communicate by making sure as a Pacesetter that we're getting items or flyers into the bulletins, into announcements, putting posters on maybe the pin boards that you have around your church, or hanging them up at various different locations throughout the church. Maybe meeting with the Sunday school group or the youth group and presenting it there to see if that would assist in getting the word out throughout the church. So those are the 3 main things. So let's talk about the timetable a little bit. Emily mentioned the July 15th, which is still off, about a month away, but there's still plenty we can do to get started as pace setters. One is Outreach for Hope is already sending some of those bulletins, flyers, information, details to the church, to the church's office. And so you can check with the church office, make sure that those are getting in the bulletins on a monthly basis, or if you have a weekly newsletter. I know I serve at Galilee Lutheran Church in Pewaukee, and we have weekly newsletters that go out on Fridays. And so we're constantly putting the message in there to drum up support for one, but also just to identify that you're the pace setter and that you're there to help them either register or get them involved with the ride in some way. Outreach for Hope Sunday is Sunday, September 19th. And so we want to mark that on your church calendar. Again, get that on the calendar and get that publicity out in order to publicize it with the group. And then, like I mentioned with the communication, it's just start talking it up, finding out who may be interested. If you do have an interest in understanding who maybe rode last year or the year before, possibly 2 years ago, you can ask us for a list of names, and we can provide those names to you so that you can reach out to them in your church and ask if they're going to ride again, if they're going to sponsor again, or if they're going to volunteer again, because you'd love to have them. But start generating those names now. Let's see. I'm going to talk, we talked about sponsors. Let me go down to July 15th. That's the key date. That is when, like Emily mentioned, we would like the pace setters to go in. We will be reaching out to the pace setters to make sure that you have what you need to register. And if you have any questions, we can help you through that process. But the sooner you can create a team for your church, the better, so that when other individuals join the team, they can look and they can see All Peoples or St. John's or Christ the King, and they can feel like they're already part of a team that's been formed. So you can then get that team registered and then start working through with all the past riders and the volunteers. Let's see. I think I talked about that. How about anytime? Let's talk about the anytime part. This can be before, it can be July 15th, and it can be anyway, probably through the month of October. Sometimes we go a month after the ride. Set up some fundraising goals. Think about the mileage goals that could happen with the congregation. Try to aim it a little higher than maybe last year or 2 years ago. See if your church is willing to move to a new goal, and then you can make those announcements to try and drum up that support. You can also encourage other people to register. And remember, if you don't ride a bike or you don't run or you don't walk, there's still plenty of things that you can do. We need people to sit at registration tables. We need people point riders in the right direction. We need all kinds of volunteers. And so any assistance would be definitely good for us to receive. And then the pace setter contacts that as we've mentioned before, I'm leading Waukesha County as a coordinator. I'm also leading all the pace setters right now. Emily is doing Racine and Kenosha, and then Chris is doing Milwaukee and Ozaki. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention all the other people that are helping out with some of those counties. There's several pastors that have stepped in and are reaching out individually to each of those churches and trying to drum up pace setters. So we appreciate all of that help as well. But we didn't want to overboard them with a bunch of phone calls, so we're taking all the phone calls. Okay, let's go to the next attachment. Any questions thus far? Should I open it up, see if there's anything there? Or you can always use the chat function. I see folks are using that, which is great. No questions. Okay. Chris, do we have any other? Yes, we do. There we go. So as Emily mentioned, I'll just repeat this because you heard me before mention that we're here to support all these packets out here, and all of the information that we've presented is going to be available not only to the public, but also to you as a pace setter. So we'll be sending out some specific links to you as pace setters, and you can generate some of these flyers or posters if needed, or you can forward those onto your church office so that they can print them maybe in color and maybe a little bit larger, so they can post those around the church. All of those are available. And as you're making announcements, if you have any questions or thoughts or ideas about maybe how you could generate more interest, you can surely do that. Some of the contests that we've done in Galilee is, we'll put a bowl of peanut M&Ms and a bowl of plain M&Ms, and people vote for which one they like better by throwing money in a jar. Something simple as that can raise some money for Outreach for Hope, and you also get to share some peanut M&Ms and plain M&Ms if you like those, but I don't like those. So I always vote for the peanut. Other ideas are bringing jerseys to churches, stick them up in the narthex and turn them backwards and let people throw money in the back pockets. That's always fun to do. Just stuff the pockets full of money. Outreach for Hope would love to get some of that money thrown in like that. And maybe I'll just throw it out there. Does anybody have an idea they want to throw out there to the other pace setters?
And Jeff, I think Jim has a question.
I do have a question.
Go ahead, Jim.
So in my years as a pace setter, I've either been involved in organizing a team at All People's Church or at Resurrection in New Berlin with a partnership at Reformation. And as a pace setter, the biggest challenge by far that I've had is the registration portal, in the fact that you can only sign up people with one email address. And a lot of people in the churches that you serve don't have email addresses and want to participate. So I'm not sure if we have a new registration portal or if it's the same one, but if it's the same one, it's like a big energy drain that you can't sign up a person that doesn't have an email address.
That's a great comment to make. Chris or Emily, have you heard that one before, or do you know anything related to registration if they're working on that? Otherwise, we'll pass it along.
Go ahead, Emily.
I'm going to have to ask Phil more specifically. This is a new, although it looks new, it is still using Salsa, which is what has been used in the past. And I will have to ask Phil. This is a very good point. Thank you for bringing it up. And I'll hope to get some answers and direction on that. Do you have anything else to add, Chris?
I would say we definitely can come up with a workaround for that, though. And if it means, again, we got to talk with Phil. He's the salsa master. So, and that's not for dancing, I don't think so. I'm sure
we did have that problem. We did have that issue in previous years, and there was a workaround established. So you may want to check on the last year's website, because there's a way of gimmicking that. If you can come up with another way of doing it also, but that has been addressed with some of the other things in Salsa last year.
Awesome.
There was a workaround that was sort of established, but it was based on the fact that we tried to scholarship people that couldn't afford the registration, which this year seems to be addressed a little differently because there's not a official minimum registration. But even if somebody was going to be scholarshiped, you couldn't register them if they didn't have an email address that wasn't already used.
Yeah, you can.
It's a great question, and
look at the documentation. It's in there. You can put in a different email address. So if you have any questions, let me know.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So we'll figure that out, and we can respond back to you, Jim, on that too.
So can I just add one more thing?
Sure.
So we would in our church, we would have Sundays, which we would advertise as registration days.
Mm-hmm.
And we would have people lined up to register, and we couldn't register them because of this reason.
Mm.
So it was like our registration days were like total failures.
So
people's we're going to run into it a ton because about 75% of our membership, not 75%, but a lot of people don't have the email addresses, and then we'll go to try and register our youth, and of course they don't, or some of them will because of virtual school, but this is absolutely, Jim has trained me, and so we've run into that a ton and a half and still are running into it.
Yeah, year after year.
So we will definitely have a good workaround for that. If any of you use MailChimp, I'm not sure if Salsa handles it the same way, where MailChimp uses the email as the identifying record. You know, that becomes it's like a special code for you. I'm not sure that Salsa does that. We will figure it out. And if it means that we have to do a whole different thing to gather that information from you, and then put you in a different way, we can do that. But we will work that out, and we've got a little bit of time to do that because the official registration site doesn't open until July 15th. So that gives us some time to work that out.
If we can do that, Chris, it would be a blessing, a big blessing.
Well, we want to be a blessing, so we will work hard to do that. But yeah, thank you for that comment, because that really helps us to get ahead of the issue.
And Jim, thanks for also bringing up Registration Sunday. Those are great ideas to have a table right there at the church, and grabbing people as they come out and signing them up, whether it's for the ride, the run, the walk, or if it's for volunteering or just sponsoring some of the team or the other riders.
Yeah, and usually, just another point, we usually coordinate the registration Sunday with a Thrivent Grant.
Sure.
So
another great idea.
If you want to do a Thrivent Grant, $250, I mean, they will bless that. And, it's just another $250 for Outreach for Hope if you do a registration Sunday.
I bet half of you know about the Thrivent grants, but maybe there's a few that don't. Thrivent offers a $250 grant. They even give you t-shirts and a nice banner and all sorts of stuff to do projects like that. And that doesn't have to just be up for Outreach for Hope. You can do multiple ones for your congregation, but it's a great way to help secure some funds to do different things. So you could have a special registration day, and it could even help buy brownies to encourage people to sign up or whatever. You can tie it into some fun things that make it something special. So those are great ways to get an easy $250 to help out with making it happen. So something to think about. But yeah, thank you for that, Jim. And Steve, thanks for pointing us in that direction. We might talk to you more. Okay. Thanks.
I do see one question in the chat related to the t-shirts and deadlines for sponsors in order to get those on the t-shirts. Chris or Emily, do you know that answer? Did you see that question?
Yes, go ahead, Emily.
We are based on some feedback that we received from experienced planners. We are not putting experienced planners amongst all of you. We are not putting the logos on the back of the t-shirts this year. Rather, we are going to have big banners. Everyone, like I mentioned before, will be represented with both a logo and a link to their website on our landing page. But we will also have on each site large banners with everyone's logos on them. So in terms of, we have not gotten as far as the banners at this point. I would imagine we would have until at least mid to late August to get people on banners. Do you feel the same, Chris?
Yeah, I've done banners in under a week. So yeah.
Okay, so we've got plenty of time on that.
Yeah. But yeah, so probably we have to get our t-shirt order in by early September. So we're going to have to make some guesses on numbers and things like that. But yeah, food is probably food and t-shirts are the big guesses on numbers, making sure we've got enough for everybody. So, but yeah, so I don't know if we have the deadline for sponsorship. Yeah, we haven't established that yet. I would guess it'd be near early September. So probably in the first week of September, I would guess. So.
Okay, any other?
The only thing I would add to that though is even once someone sponsorships, we're still publicizing stuff from last year, so it goes on for a whole year. So it's not just up till the event. It'll continue on. So we'll continue to keep them on our website and things like that, and thank them for their sponsorship. So it's kind of a year-round sponsorship in a lot of ways. So yeah. Dave.
Had to get it off mute. Yeah, on this registration, should we suggest, I mean, there are two aspects to this. One would be kind of a registration fee and another would be the donation. And they can register however much and pay it whatever they want when they register. But then like we register and then we later make a donation. And I think we do it separately, I'm just guessing, do you suggest what we charged last year, whatever it was, or is there a suggested amount? Put it that way, that you tell people.
We didn't want to put a number because we found that it either can be a limiting number when you say $40, which is what we did last year, or a family for 80. Some people said, okay, there's your 40, done. It's kind of like going to a church potluck. We discussed this on the board, and one of the thoughts was, when you go to a church potluck, and if you say it's $5 to eat, people will go past all their 20s and find a 5 at the bottom and give you a 5. Versus, give what you'd like, give what you can. Often then it's like, well, here's 20. So it's really up to people. We also were really concerned that we didn't want this to be a hindrance to people, or kind of create a second-class citizen kind of feel. Well, I can't afford to be at this event, so it feels like even with scholarships, it starts to feel like, well, we're allowing you to come. We didn't want that. So it's just you see some of these restaurants, like Trickleby is one in Milwaukee, where it's a sense of everyone is welcome. We want everyone there. This is the family of God coming together and having an awesome day. And whatever you can give for registration that helps us with these hard costs that we have, t-shirts, food, the various costs that we have to make the event happen. And if you'd like to give a generous donation, however you define generous, whether that's $5 is generous to you or 5,000 is generous to you. It's really up to you to decide what that is. But we want to just really encourage everyone to participate, because this really should be, when we call it a family event, we're really referring to the family of God, the church coming together and really supporting one another, encouraging, walking together, being there for one another. This is really meant to be that event. So we didn't want to create the barrier of the registration fee, but at the same time, mindful that there are costs. So it's, you kind of put it in there as pay what you can. But if it becomes, it's kind of up to you to say, well, I'm just going to give you my donation now in the registration fee. So here's my whatever that is. Or if you want to do it both ways, I'll give you a registration now and I'll give you a donation later. That's up to you. Or you say, I'm not going to give anything in the registration fee. It's just one. You've got options, and that's how you can do it. So I don't know if that makes your job more difficult as a pace setter to explain that, but hopefully it's essentially, the idea that we wanted everyone to feel welcome and not have this be an issue where people couldn't afford it and so they're not going to come. We want everyone to be welcome was a big thing that we wanted to emphasize. So
okay,
good question though. Thank you. Good plug for Trickleby. So if you want to go to a great restaurant, Trickleby, and pay what you can.
So with that, what I think I'll do is we'll do a closing prayer, and then if anybody does have further questions, this is just to respect the time. We're almost at the top of the hour. So for those individuals that have questions, they can stay on, and we'll answer any questions. but this is the time when you ask the pastor to have a short sermon. So I'm going to ask the pastor if he wants to do a short closing prayer to get us finished up at the top of the hour. And then
Did you say sermon or prayer?
I said a prayer.
I heard sermon. And I guess we will really at the event make sure we'll have to sing happy birthday to Julie, because you know this has become a long-standing tradition, I think, right, Julie? She might be still running around, as she said in her comment. But we won't do a sermon, we'll just say a prayer. How about that? Let's join together. Let us pray. Dear great and gracious God, thank you so much for how you walk with us each and every step of our lives. You pedal along with us, and you are our partner through life. We thank you for how you continually encourage us, strengthen us, forgive us, equip us for this journey you've set us upon. And as we move towards this journey of our event in late September, bless us in our work as pace setters so that we can really help this event to be really successful, so that it can truly benefit and help out with many of our brothers and sisters in our Milwaukee City. Bless us in our time as we work towards those things, and as we go tonight, that you would give us rest, help us to sleep so that we can wake up again tomorrow ready to serve you. In your name we pray. Amen. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone, for joining. If anybody does have any further questions, they can stay on the line. Otherwise, you'll be seeing further communication from us related to Pacesetter and what information is there. And we're here to support you, so you can reach out to us at any point in time.
And I think email blast will go out to congregations and to all of you on Monday with all the links. So you've got the links easily accessible. So you've got those. All right.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Emily.
I have a quick question.
All right, Rosie.
You recorded this. Is
Yep.
it going to be available that like those who couldn't make it tonight will be able to check it out?
I'm going to edit it in just a minute here and put it up on YouTube. It'll be up on our Outreach for Hope. By the way, if you haven't subscribed to our Outreach for Hope YouTube page, we're trying to get 15 more people so that once we get over 100, we actually get to name our site. So that would be great to do that tonight. That will help us. But I'll also put that link in the email. So it'll actually have a big button, YouTube of the video with a button, so people can watch this. And because there was a whole bunch, I had about 20 people that said, can't make it, but I really don't want to miss the information. So they'll be able to watch the video. I might cut out the introductions, but or at least speed them up. How about that?
Okay.
So,
Thank
great.
you.
Any other questions?
Okay.
I have a question.
All right,
I don't know
Amanda.
if any of it like as the newbie. So for Holy Cross, we have an interesting dynamic where we actually have folks who live in 3 different counties, right?
Mhm.
Washington, Milwaukee, and like we have folks who live in Tosa. We have folks who, maybe potentially live closer to Grafton than like at the Dousman site. I am wondering if anybody else has the experience of having like, and maybe this is not a first year attempt, but like 2 teams. Like I'm thinking like one doing the walk in Milwaukee and one doing the bike walk option, like in Waukesha County. Like, I don't know. I was just kind of thinking.
In a lot of ways, your partnership with Hepatha is crucial. And I know
It's all
Hepatha.
peeps. Like we gotta.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Was it all peeps?
We're to both Hepatha
Okay.
and all peeps.
Because I know they kind of want to do 2 different locations as well. So you might want to.
Okay.
Because I know that's part of the blessing of this event is that we get to connect with people from other churches and connect with our ministry partners. So you might want to coordinate with them. I know Anna's thinking about possibly going out to Waukesha. We've been discussing even having a bus that brings from our ministry partners that brings people out to Waukesha, one to Racine Kenosha, one to Ozaki. So if people want to go to those other sites, they can. But you should probably connect with, I know Mary Martha's on sabbatical right now, but probably Nurse Chris or like.
I just texted her about something else tonight.
Yeah, and so they're already
Right.
thinking about these things, and Anna's definitely thinking about these things. So So yeah, that's a great question though. And
Yeah, it was kind of a weird, unique thing to almost have two different teams, and because I didn't know how you would do that when you,
right.
Sending them to two different locations and requiring them to sign up then on two different sort of like page options.
Right.
So that was my question.
I think we need to point that direction to Steve as well, just for registration, because there was discussion about that last year. How it panned out.
Emily,
Okay.
could you make sure we capture that question too?
Yep.
As we discuss it with Phil as well.
That was.
We've got such serious faces. Any questions?
Yeah, that, thanks for bringing that up. Because St. Matt's, we've never done a team thing, and we've had people going to different locations. So are you saying that everyone on a specific team would have to be to the same location? Or could they be to different locations?
That's a good
question.
I don't know. I don't remember. It's been so long with the registration and all.
No, that's what we have to verify, because when we did open
Yeah.
up to multiple locations, there was discussion about having one church team, and some of those church team members would ride in Waukesha, some would ride in Racine and Ozaki. So I think we need to talk with the registration site to see how they've categorized that and how we accomplish that.
Yeah, and I don't know if the team, and this is me talking out of ignorance. So I'm not sure that the team matters in terms of the location. It's more that you've got this many people who are active doing this, and it's more about, it ends up being more about fundraising goals. So as people, because you can do it's called peer-to-peer fundraising, where you say, hey, Facebook friends, I'm doing this event. If you'd like to sponsor me, or if you'd like to make a donation towards Outreach for Hope, my goal is $200, $500, $1,000. You set your own goal, and then that team gathers up. I'm not positive on that, but that's a great question. That's why your questions are important. So thank you. Amanda.
Okay, clarifying question. And like, I haven't gone through the registration page, obviously, so I don't.
And we don't even have it up.
Have it up yet, but I haven't done it before. So
Sure.
would,
I'll put it up.
so as an individual, you are creating the team, not like, okay, as the church staff person in charge of, said, we have staff people for everything in Holy Cross. That's kind of how we work. But you're not like,
it's a good thing.
If we're not like creating a Holy Cross team, like it's an individual, whether that's myself as a staff person or one of our congregation members, Stan, doing that, like they create the team as a pacemaker individual. Is that correct?
So I don't know if I want to
Maybe I made it more confusing.
I can comment to that, Emily. As a pace setter for Galilee, what I would do every year is I would go in and I would create my registration, and I would create Galilee as the church team. And then I would ask all of my congregation members to join my team. And so you're registering for yourself in somehow, whether that's registration for the ride or as a volunteer. You're in the system as a fundraiser, and then you ask everybody to join your team. So that's the intent of what we would like to do. There is talk about trying to set those churches up for you already, so that you would just connect to them. But we don't know if the system is allowing us to do that yet. But if we're doing it like previous years, it would be you would set up your name registration, and then everybody would join you as the captain for Hepatha or All Peoples, whatever that might be.
So then they would still, even if they join that team, they wouldn't have to be at the location that like I'm at. They wouldn't have to.
We're not sure about that.
That's what we need to verify, and that's what we'll look into.
We'll get answers to that and get them out to you.
Dave.
Yeah, well, I think, even the team it's a church team fundraiser, the way I view it. And even, like our participants, we don't all ride together. Some ride different lengths, some people, So it's really, like you had said, kind of a team fundraiser. We don't all, everybody kind of goes their own way at their own speed, at their own. So
I think that's probably the best definition there. Yeah.
I mean, maybe we can have a like Holy Cross Milwaukee team, a Holy Cross Waukesha County team, and then they compete like for fundraising. Like we can do
and so part of this does become kind of encouraging your church to get more people out. So Hepatha is going to be doing their own work to a certain extent. All People's doing their own work of getting their church out. So I don't know if all you would be doing in terms of trying to be at the same place as them is just coordinating with them. Hey, we're going to Waukesha. Are you going to Waukesha? They'll have 10, you'll have 10. Let's connect there and we can walk together and talk along the way.
Well, I'm just not sure, like our folks may choose between two different sites, right?
Right. But it's just that it's kind of coordinating outside of the registration site, a registration website on your own. I think is probably more what that's going to be in that regard. Wouldn't you say, Emily?
Yes. Yep.
But it's a great question, and this is where the rubber starts to hit the road. I think that's biking language, isn't it? Where we start to figure out, okay, how does this actually work? So
I understand I'm in the middle of a whole bunch of conditional logic in jot form right now for a major event at Holy Cross that like tonight I'm reading through all the conditional logic, so I get it.
Sounds
it's
good.
This and that. Yeah.
If then this. Any other questions? Lynn's got the answers if so.
I do. I can make them real well.
Pose all your questions to Lynn. She's ready for it. All right. But
Only
thank
if you can
and,
present it to me in Swahili.
Oh, yes. Yes. Nzuri sana. Usiku mwema. Have a good night is what that
Lala salama.
Lala salama. Lala fufofo.
Oh, yes.
Kamajiwe. All the good stuff. Sleep like a rock.
Yep.
Okay, I'm gonna sign off.
All right.
Take care.
Rosie, have a great night. Jen, I appreciate your comment, your question. That's really helpful for us to really dive into and figure out. So we'll make it work. It's a great question though.
Thank you guys.
I'll stop the recording and everyone have a good night.
You too.
Thanks everybody.
Bye-bye.
Good night.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.